Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 502 based on novel. So let's start. He didn't absorb the power, and he didn't even think about doing so. Right now, he wanted the void gate to erupt and for his cultivation to increase greatly after reaching the third step. If he absorbed the power of the void gate now, he would immediately become a mid-stage Nirvana void cultivator. However, he didn't want this was merely two essences. As Wang Lin pointed, an angry roar seemed to come from the vortex formed by the collapsed void gate. As the vortex rapidly rotated, the third void gate appeared. However, just as the third void gate appeared, the fourth void gate appeared as well. And after the fourth void gate, another one appeared. This was the fifth gate. 3 void gates appeared in the world at once. From afar, this looked shocking. The surrounding tens of thousands of cultivators seemed to lose their consciousness. The only thing left was fear and terror. 3 void gates. What the hell is he doing? After spending so much effort to open the void gate. Even among the 5 masters of the ancient star system, I have never heard of someone who can do this. Lord of the Sealed Realm. Lord of the Sealed Realm. Wang Lin's expression was calm as he looked at the 3 void gates. He stepped forward and charged like a meteor toward the 3 void gates as everyone watched. As Wang Lin charged forward, his right hand stretched out with his fingers spread out in a palm. The moment they closed in on the gate, his right hand pressed down. The moment his hand pressed down, his voice echoed and eventually formed the last word. Print. Karma print. Wang Lin had spent more than 70 years in the Dream Dao comprehending this through karma. His was his 5th original spell. The moment he said, print, his right hand pressed down on the 3rd void gate and there was a flash of coldness in his eyes. His fingers gripped hard, and with a bang, his hand closed to form a fist. It was as if this grip had grabbed the karma of the world. Wang Lin's right hand pulled back from the gate. He jerked outward and a distorted void gate shadow seemed to be dragged out by Wang Lin. The moment he raised his right hand, a rumble came from the 3rd void gate. Crackling sounds echoed and cracks spread from where Wang Lin's hand was, covering the entire void gate. Then, with a bang, the entire gate shattered into countless fragments. The 3rd void gate collapsed. The moment this void gate collapsed, Wang Lin's laughter echoed and the karma essence surrounded his body. The aura around him increased greatly, from mid-stage Nirvana Void to late-stage Nirvana Void. Since ancient times, no one had ever done this while breaking open the void gate. Wang Lin didn't stop there. When the 3rd void gate shattered, he stepped through the fragments. He arrived before the 4th void gate and both his hands pressed down. Life and death seal. Wang Lin's left hand was filled with white gas, and the moment it landed, it rushed into the void gate, occupying half of it. At the same time, black gas spread out from Wang Lin's right hand and swept through the void gate. The black and white gases began to rotate together, and the void gate trembled violently. When Wang Lin said, life and death seal, his eyes were filled with a sense of pride that looked down upon the world. His 2 hands pulled to the sides. Open for me. As Wang Lin roared, his hand seemed to contain the power of life and death. The 4th void gate trembled violently and collapsed. The 4th void gate collapsed. The moment this gate collapsed, Wang Lin's aura erupted once more. It went from late-stage Nirvana Void to peak Nirvana Void. He was now standing at the peak of Nirvana Void. A crack was about to appear between his eyebrows. The inside of the crack was black, and it looked as if contained another world. This was unique to spirit void cultivators, their own Joss Flame realm to nurture Joss Flame souls. They could even force others to worship them and become their Joss Flame slaves. Wang Lin had opened the void gate by himself without the help of Joss Flames. As a result, the crack between his eyebrows was not a Joss Flame world but his own world. Even without Joss Flames, he could still force someone to worship him. At this moment, the crack hadn't opened completely as his cultivation level was not high enough. As he laughed, he waved his sleeve and pushed away the fragments of the void gate back. What appeared before him was the fifth void gate. This fifth void gate was even more condensed and real than before. It stood there, but Wang Lin didn't rip it apart with his hands. Instead, his eyes revealed a shocking gaze as he looked at the fifth gate, then he closed his eyes. With his eyes closed, everything in the world in Wang Lin's heart became false. As long as his heart and his thoughts remained, then everything would remain. After closing his eyes for a moment, Wang Lin suddenly opened them. The moment he opened his eyes, everything in the world that was false became true. This was the spell he had comprehended from the true and false essence, true and false path. The fifth void gate existed among the stars, but Wang Lin closed his eyes again. He raised his right hand and waved. It was a simple wave. However, before everyone's eyes, the fifth gate distorted and turned to dust with Wang Lin's wave. It silently collapsed before Wang Lin. Wang Lin had broken open all 5 void gates one by one. The crack that had faintly appeared between Wang Lin's eyebrows formed completely and gave off an endless suction force. It was as if the star system itself was going to be sucked in. The extremely powerful aura of a spirit void cultivator spread out from Wang Lin. If he was satisfied, then he could absorb the power of the void gate and become an early-stage spirit void cultivator, but how could he be? This was only 5 essences. He still had the slaughter essence Qing Shui had gifted him. The complete slaughter essence he had just absorbed would allow him to trigger the void gate a 6th time. Him casually breaking the void gate with karma, ripping it open with life and death, and turning it to dust with true and false terrified the cultivators that saw this. It was unknown who reacted first, but a terrified scream echoed and that person retreated like crazy. A moment later, almost all the outer realm cultivators escaped in all directions. They were afraid. Seeing how easy it was for Wang Lin to break the void gate, they had to feel fear. Their fear had reached an extreme. When he first broke the void gate with thunder, it was okay. When he burned the gate with fire, it was still acceptable. But in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th times, the 3 gates collapsed to a palm, a press, and a wave. In particular, the last one, where Wang Lin only closed his eyes, opened them, and closed them to cause the void gate to dissipate, had exceeded the imagination of all the outer realm cultivators. The green-robed young man retreated in terror. Although he was at the arcane void stage, he was only at the early stage. When Wang Lin broke the 3 void gates in a row, he saw some clues. Karma, life and death, true and false. He actually went on to comprehend those grand ethereal Taos. This person can't be provoked, he can't be provoked. Essences were split between corporeal and ethereal. Fire was corporeal, but karma was ethereal. Comprehending ethereal essences was much more difficult. 6th essence, slaughter essence. Wang Lin's voice was calm, but it contained a shocking slaughter aura. As his words echoed, red snowflakes appeared out of thin air and spread out. As the red snowflakes drifted, the 6th void gate suddenly appeared. This 6th void gate was completely different from the other 5, it was made of white bones. At a glance, this was not a door but a huge skull. Its bizarre appearance slowly appeared before Wang Lin, then a ripple spread out in all directions. Any cultivator hit by this ripple immediately trembled and aged rapidly. Nearly 10,000 people didn't even scream before dying of old age thanks to this ripple, then they turned to dust. 10,000 Void Bone Gate. Only 2 people here recognized this gate. One was Heaven Master Void God and the other was Master South Cloud. Not even the green-robed young man had ever heard of it before. This appearance, this White Bone Gate. Could it be the legendary 10,000 Void Bone Gate? Heaven Master Void Gate looked at the skull-like gate and endless horror filled his eyes. The Celestial Imperial Concubine said that the 10,000 Void Bone Gate was a huge gap to cross. People that can trigger this gate are extremely rare, but as long as they don't die, they will definitely become a powerful master in the future. 10,000 Void Bone Gate. The previous Lord of the Sealed Realm said that anyone who can trigger this gate to enter the 3rd step will have an unimaginable future. He said that this bone gate is not something of this world, but a sign of the heavens in his hometown. Master South Cloud looked at the strange bone gate with disbelief in his eyes. Wang Lin didn't know that it was the 10,000 Void Bone Gate, but he felt that this gate was strange and his eyes narrowed. He looked at the giant gate before him and a flash of killing intent appeared in his eyes. No matter how strange this gate was to Wang Lin, it was all the same, merely a gate to reach the third step. He leaned forward and raised his right hand. The red snowflakes scattered across the area quickly gathered toward his right hand. An instant later, Wang Lin's right hand gave off an endless red light. His hand became a blood palm. The dazzling red light gave off a cold killing intent that permeated the area. The surrounding cultivators were all shocked by this aura, and they didn't dare to escape. Slaughter essence, Wang Lin muttered as he rushed forward toward the bone gate. In a flash, Wang Lin closed in and his right hand slammed toward the gate. There was a thunderous bang and a giant blood handprint appeared on the 10,000 Void Bone Gate. This blood palm print contained all of Wang Lin's slaughter and all of Qing Shui's slaughter. This slaughter had already become a type of essence. There seemed to be countless ghosts howling within the blood palm, wanting to rush out. However, they couldn't escape and turned toward the Void Gate. Thunderous rumbles echoed like crazy. The 10,000 Void Bone Gate was indeed not ordinary. Before the slaughter essence and its countless raging ghosts, it only trembled. A few cracks appeared, but it didn't collapse. Not only did it not collapse, but a rebound force erupted toward Wang Lin. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. The more difficult the gate was to open, the more interested he became. He retreated a few steps and let out a laugh before pointing at the sky. Determination filled his eyes. Thunder. In an instant, thunder filled the world and shot toward the Void Gate. Fire. Fire raged as a storm and burned everything. Karma print. Wang Lin opened and closed his right hand. Life and death seal. He raised his left hand and his two hands closed. True and false Tao. Wang Lin closed his eyes. And when he reopened them, a powerful aura filled his body. This was the aura of a grand scholar. This aura fused with his early-stage spirit void aura and then he took a step forward. His right hand formed a fist and he punched toward the Void Gate. 6 essences, open the Void Gate. Wang Lin let out a roar as he closed in on the Void Gate like a ray of light. Then his right hand landed on the 10,000 Void Bone Gate with a bang. This punch contained the expectations of Wang Lin's 2,000 years of cultivation. This punch was his full power with 6 complete essences. This punch was his determination to make himself stronger to revive Li Muwen. This punch was his entrance into the third step. Thunderous rumbles echoed across the stars. The giant bone gate trembled and cracks spread rapidly. In just a moment, it collapsed. This was the 6th gate. He had blown open 6 void gates at once. There was no longer any force that could stop Wang Lin from reaching the third step. The moment the gate shattered, an infinitely large vortex appeared. A surge of void gate power vast like the sea rushed out and entered Wang Lin's body. Under this power from the void gate, popping sounds came from his body. The 6 essences in his body rapidly fused and the aura around him rapidly increased from early-stage spirit void. It went directly from early-stage spirit void to mid-stage spirit void. As the Void Gate's power entered his body, Wang Lin's body was constantly being refined. His body broke through some kind of limit and took the step past the peak of the 2nd step. This step was a step into the 3rd step. This step wasn't just an increase in his aura, but his cultivation had also reached the 3rd step. From now on, Wang Lin was a 3rd step cultivator. The popping sounds in his body, the endless roar in his mind, and the extremely comfortable feeling from his body was like him going through a metamorphosis. His entire body was evolving. The first step of cultivation, from chi condensation to ascendant, was allow a cultivator's body to be reborn. Then, when they reached the Nirvana Scrya stage, they would be able to absorb origin energy. The 3rd step was the second time a cultivator was reborn. His body would expand infinitely so it would be no different from the world itself. This step was extremely heaven-defying as it melted the talent of a cultivator. For 3rd step cultivators, there was no longer talent, only comprehension. The 6 essences continued to fuse. When the thunder and fire essences fused, Wang Lin's cultivation level climbed from early stage Nirvana Void to mid-stage Nirvana Void. When the Karma essence fused in, his cultivation level increased to late-stage Nirvana Void. When life and death followed and the true and false essences merged, Wang Lin's cultivation level broke through the peak of Nirvana Void and reached early-stage Spirit Void. Wang Lin's cultivation level continued to increase, and the pressure spread out, catching everyone's attention. Killing intent appeared in Heaven Master Void God's eyes, and with a roar, he rushed forward. The Void Gate was there earlier, so he couldn't attack, but now that it was gone, he had to kill Wang Lin. He had a feeling that if he didn't kill Wang Lin today, he would never have another chance. The appearance of the 10,000 Void Bone Gate had caused his scalp to go numb. At this moment, he gave it his all. Even if he lost his avatar, he wouldn't care. The grudge between him and Wang Lin was life and death. If Wang Lin didn't die today, he would die in the future. He is now fusing his essences, it is the best time to kill him. Once they fully fuse, I fear not even early-stage arcane void cultivators would be his match. We can't allow him to live. The green-robed young man had the same thought. He was already retreating when he saw Heaven Master Void God act. He clenched his teeth and his eyes turned bloodshot. He surrounded his body with endless ice and then charged at Wang Lin. There was also Zhu Jin, who was scared out of his wits. However, he was still a third-step cultivator and the ancestor of the Blood Wolf clan. With a desperate expression, he let out roar and a blood wolf tens of thousands of feet large appeared. These actions caused Master South Cloud and company to rush forward, disregarding the injuries they had suffered. However, at this moment, a gentle voice echoed in their ears like a spring breeze. No problem. Although this voice was soft, it contained an indisputable force that stopped Master South Cloud and company. They looked at the vortex that had appeared after the Void Gate collapsed. Wang Lin was absorbing the power from the Void Gate while Heaven Master Void God's group of 3 were closing in on him. Wang Lin was using the power of the Void Gate to fuse the 6th Slaughter Essence. The moment those 3 closed in, Wang Lin pointed at them. Stop! This spell was used after reaching the 3rd step and absorbing the power of the Void Gate. The world changed, and it seemed as if the stars themselves had been frozen. Wang Lin had also used the unused chaotic Dao intent from the 3 Dao fruits in this stop spell. With this, Zhu Jin's body trembled and he couldn't move half a step. The green-robed young man also felt endless Dao intent hold himself and was unable to move. Only Heaven Master Void God could still move forward, but his spell slowed down. Just at this moment, Wang Lin moved. He had spent his life in slaughter and was not afraid of fighting. He directly charged at the green-robed young man and closed and opened his eyes. A moment of confusion appeared in the green-robed young man's eyes. During this moment of confusion, Wang Lin raised his right hand and opened it up. Then he pressed down and his fingers closed as if he was grabbed something. Karma print. The green-robed man trembled, then he coughed out blood and was knocked back. He was at the early stage of Arcane Void, but with years of battle and injuries that hadn't healed, he could only use peak Spirit Void cultivation. Now that he was frozen by the stop spell, he had no chance of resisting. As Wang Lin raised his right hand, a blob of mist flew toward. No one could say what it was, but when the mist left the green-robed young man's body, his body trembled violently. His eyes widened and his face distorted in pain. What was pulled out was a Karma force, a Dao force. What was pulled out was the green-robed young man's essence. That mist quickly changed in Wang Lin's hand. In a short period of time, it turned to ice several times, trying to escape, but Wang Lin held on tight. The Karma print was extremely tyrannical. Essence was also a part of Karma. The person was the karmic cause, their cultivation was karmic fate, and forming their essence and reaching the 3rd step was karmic effect. At this moment, Wang Lin's white hair fluttered and he was calm. He looked like the sovereign did in the past. Attacking with Grand Dao. My essence is Karma. My palm is karmic cause and my closed fist is karmic effect. Since it wasn't easy for you to reach your cultivation level, I won't kill you today. I'll take your essence and seal it for 1,000 years, now leave the battlefield. Wang Lin's eyes seemed to contain the heavens and earth. A powerful aura erupted from his body and landed in the eyes of the green-robed young man. The green-robed young man trembled and his mind rumbled. He coughed out blood once more, and as Wang Lin waved his sleeve, he was forced to retreat more than 10,000 feet away. His eyes were dim and filled with monstrous terror. You. This? What kind of spell is this? Wang Lin closed his eyes, and when he opened them once more, he calmly said one word. Scram! He didn't roar and was extremely calm, but when the green-robed young man heard this, it was as if the world was about to collapse around him. His mind trembled as if a force had rushed into his body and was going to tear his origin soul apart. Feeling terrified, the green-robed young man escaped like crazy as blood flowed out from his mouth. He hadn't lost his whole essence, but Wang Lin had taken out a majority of it, which terrified him. He had never heard of this kind of spell before, but he vaguely knew that the sovereigns fishing the moon in the wall had a similar power. His heart trembled and was filled with reluctance while he retreated. He thought that if he had kept his cultivation at its peak, it wouldn't have been so easy for Wang Lin to extract his essences. This old man has arcane void cultivation, this old man will not accept this. He roared in his mind and heart, but he didn't reveal any of it as he quickly escaped. All of this happened in an instant. Wang Lin had forced the green-robed young man back. Then Wang Lin turned toward Heaven Master Void God, who was slowed down by the stop spell and was filled with killing intent. Let's deal with what happened back then. Wang Lin's gaze was cold, but he remained calm. He looked at Heaven Master Void God and walked over. Myriad Red Cloud Void Dao. Master Heaven Void God let out a roar and his hands formed a seal. He waved his hand and a giant rift appeared behind him. Endless Joss flames rushed out and created countless glowing, red clouds. Giant statues appeared from within the red clouds. Suppress this person into the reincarnation of the world. Let him fall into the abyss among the stars so that his soul can't move an inch. Heaven Master Void God roared as he pointed with his finger. The statues all glowed as they smashed down on Wang Lin as if they were trying to bury him among the stars. At this moment, a giant vortex appeared below Wang Lin. This vortex was formed by a spell, and countless ghosts flew out of it. They let out mournful cries as their bodies extended and surrounded Wang Lin. They wanted to pull him into the vortex. At this moment, the vortex from when the void gate collapsed was still there. From afar, it was an extremely shocking scene as Wang Lin had a vortex above and below him. Aside from the two vortexes, 10,000 glowing status were smashing toward Wang Lin. It looks like Wang Lin was completely trapped inside Heaven Master Void God's spell. Die for me. Heaven Master Void God had a ferocious expression and raised his right hand. Purple mist gathered and formed a lance in his hand. He grabbed the lance and threw it at Wang Lin. As a thunderous rumble echoed, the lance carried with it endless mist and shot toward the trapped Wang Lin. In the distance, the green-robed man stopped for a moment and struggled to turn around to look at the trapped Wang Lin. He let out a roar, abandoned his escape, and stepped toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin remained calm. As the 10,000 statues smashed toward him, he closed his eyes and stepped forward. He wasn't fast, but hundreds of statues had closed in on him. However, just as they arrived, they went through his body. It was unknown whether it was Wang Lin who had become an illusion or if it was the statues themselves. Thunderous rumbles echoed as the countless statue fell, but when they got close to Wang Lin, they seemed to become transparent and went through him. Then the rumbling continued behind Wang Lin. This caused Heaven Master Void God's pupils to shrink. Wang Lin's steps didn't look fast, but he instantly arrived before Heaven Master Void God. He raised his right hand and didn't even care what spell Heaven Master Void God was using as his right hand pressed down. Life and Death Seal. His left hand was life and his right hand was death. Wang Lin's right hand landed and black gas surrounded his palms. Although his palm had landed in the void, it caused Heaven Master Void God's expression to change. He clearly sensed that Wang Lin's palm contained the aura of death. When the palm landed, there seemed to be an absence of life within the surrounding star domain. It was as if this area had become a dead domain. The moment it became a death domain, countless cracks appeared in the space around him and collapsed. Endless amounts of death aura rushed out toward him. Heaven Master Void God's body was knocked back hundreds of feet with a bang, and then he looked up. However, just as he looked up, Wang Lin pointed at him. "Stop!" Heaven Master Void God's body slowed down once more. He let out a roar and was about to break the stop spell around him and get out of this quagmire-like state. But how could Wang Lin give him this chance? Wang Lin closed in an instant and arrived before Heaven Master Void God. Wang Lin lifted his finger and pointed to between Heaven Master Void God's eyebrows. Thunder. With that, Wang Lin's right index finger seemed to turn into a bolt of eternal thunder. This destructive thunder contained the power of all the thunder from the inner and outer realms. This point was powerful enough to kill third-step cultivators. Even though Heaven Master Void God was one of the 5 masters and his cultivation level was extremely high, this was only one of his avatars. It was only at the early stage of Arcane Void. As a result, this power of thunder could still hurt him. With one point, Heaven Master Void God's body trembled. A flash of silver appeared between his eyebrows and countless flashes of silver spread out. In an instant, it spread over his entire body, and a thunderous rumble echoed. Blood flowed out from the corner of Heaven Master Void God's mouth and he was pushed back. Just as he retreated, Wang Lin stepped forward once more. Wang Lin's right thumb extended and landed between Heaven Master Void God's eyebrows again. Fire! As the thunderous rumbles echoed, destructive fire spread out from between his eyebrows like the silver thunder. The fire spread across this body, rushed toward his mind, and burned his soul. The pain of having both the inside and outside of his body burnt caused Heaven Master Void God's face to become distorted. He coughed out a large mouthful of blood. However, it wasn't over yet. A flash of killing intent appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. He raised his right hand and formed a palm. Then he pressed down on Heaven Master Void God's forehead and his fingers closed into form a fist. Karma! An essence was pulled out by Wang Lin. The continuous attacks didn't give Heaven Master Void God any chance to resist. With the stop spell, Wang Lin was like heavens itself. Life and death. Wang Lin lifted both his hand. His left hand was life, and it pressed down on Heaven Master Void God's chest. Heaven Master Void God's old body suddenly radiated youth and became younger. However, just as Wang Lin's right hand fell, the youth collapsed. Life and death erupted inside Heaven Master Void God's body as if they were going to rip his body apart. Heaven Master Void God bled from all his orifices and his expression became even more ferocious. He was one of the 5 masters of the ancient star system. His dignity wouldn't allow him to yield. With a roar, his body trembled and he broke free from the stop spell. The moment the stop spell was broken, his full cultivation erupted. However, Wang Lin still remained calm. The moment Heaven Master Void God broke the stop spell, Wang Lin pointed with his right index finger. Stop! No! Heaven Master Void God's body trembled and despair appeared in his eyes. True and false. Wang Lin closed his eyes and everything in this world became false. Then his eyes opened, so everything became true. However, when he closed his eyes once more, his right hand chopped down. Slaughter. Wang Lin's palm was like a blade, giving off a red glow of slaughter. It directly landed on Heaven Master Void God's head and mercilessly chopped through. A heaven-shaking popping sound echoed followed by a miserable scream. Heaven Master Void God's body was split in half. His 2 halves turned into purple mist and retreated to the left and right. However, even though Wang Lin's eyes were closed, he could clearly feel that splitting this mist was like splitting apart cloth. The moment the mist separated, Heaven Master Void God's avatar's original body was released. It was a cloud of invisible energy. This invisible energy was very difficult to detect, and Wang Lin could only detect it using his true and false Tao. This invisible energy was the core of Heaven Master Void God's avatar. This avatar was, in fact, a breath exhaled by Heaven Master Void God. Heaven Master Void God was called Void God because his body was like void. It could be said that his body was not real and was only a mass of energy. At this moment, the cloud of invisible energy that only Wang Lin could see tried to escape without anyone noticing. Heaven Master Void God didn't have the highest cultivation level among the 5 masters, but he was the most difficult to kill. This video will end here.